see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Joey, we got Javier, we got Michael. Javier here with a very good question. Remind me a little later on in the show. We will be talking about this if you want. Absolutely. I don't know if you guys known, but I was a big Jackson Dart fan myself going into the draft process, but I didn't really talk about him very much because of obviously the Cardinals weren't in a let me find my next quarterback of the future. But we could probably talk about this a little later on if you want. Just remind me, Javier, if you don't, if you can stay here in the stream. Appreciate you. But yeah, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about this. Do me a huge favor, smack the like button here on your way in, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today we're gonna be diving into Trey Hendrickson updates. What? We finally got some Trey Hendrickson updates, and they're trending in the direction that he might get traded after all, or at least per the report of what Ian Rappaport ended up saying yesterday. And then Diana Rossini ended up doubling down today and giving us some sort of idea of maybe what to expect as to what a package could potentially be. Now, will the Cardinals go after Trey Hendrickson? That's a different topic for a different day. We all know how I feel about it. I would love nothing more than to see Monty Ossenfort make an aggressive move like this to solidify saying we are going all in this year. I would love nothing more than to see that. But so far, since the tenure of Monty Ossenfort, the most aggressive thing we've done so far, I guess, probably releasing D-Hop and maybe going after Baron Browning in terms of a trade. Now, I guess in terms of a trade, it wouldn't be releasing, as I was talking about in trade. So I guess the most aggressive thing that we've done in the trade market was probably going after Baron Browning, if I could be absolutely real. So, which is a good piece. Definitely a good piece. I'm excited to see what he's going to do here in the 2025 season for the Arizona Cardinals. We did release a video earlier this morning as well, predicting the final 53-man roster after week 2. So if you guys have not checked that out, make sure you go ahead and check it out. We're predicting it based off of what we saw in training camp, what we saw in the first 2 weeks of preseason. And let's be real, the starters probably most likely will not be starting here in week 3 versus the Raiders. And we just got to get ready. We got to get ready because as of yesterday, it's 3 weeks away from the start of the regular season when the Cardinals open up versus the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. And I think that's one thing that everybody's very, very excited to see. Finally, some real football that matters towards the 2025 season. But being the fact that we are still kind of in preseason mode, let's talk a little bit about what the heck happened versus the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos are a team that's probably going to be a team that's going to go deep into the playoffs, if I'm going to be real. Like, this team looks pretty darn good from top to bottom. Now, I remember last week when the Broncos ended up beating the snot out of the 49ers, right? And I said to myself, wow, look at the Broncos, man. The 49ers suck. They're terrible, right? And a week later goes by and the Arizona Cardinals absolutely gets embarrassed by the Broncos as well. The Broncos have a very good team from top to bottom. And I'm talking about second stringers, third stringers, whoever they cut with the Broncos. Monty Ossenfort, please keep your eyes peeled. Maybe that can definitely be something where the Cardinals can potentially poach somebody on their roster because that team looks to be legit. Like, their wide receivers, 2s and 3s, they look good, man. They look good. Their backup quarterback in Stidham, this is back-to-back games that he's had a really, really good showing. And he was not harassed. He wasn't touched. He was doing everything he could on this Arizona Cardinal defense. He ended up leaving this game 16 of 23, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. And last week he had a pretty solid showing as well. So Stidham looks good, man. Stidham looks good. Their running back core with Jaleel McLaughlin, I don't know. Like, he looks pretty solid as well, but I'm not sure if it's one of those things where are we really saying that like these guys are that great, or are the Cardinals defensive second/third and fourth stringers that bad, right? I think it lies somewhere down the middle. I think the Arizona Cardinals defensively, they got worked. They did not come to this game thinking that they were playing a game, like, or at least it didn't look like it. They got worked. I don't know if they felt or they came in with the same intensity as the Denver Broncos did, but they got worked. Now, does this matter in 2025? Does a preseason game matter in 2025? No, it doesn't. At the end of the day, no, it doesn't, right? But of course, because we cover the Cardinals, we gotta have to kind of dissect the game and kind of talk about what we saw. Amari DeMarcado in week 2 versus week 1, completely night and day different. Amari DeMarcado had himself a game in week 1. In week 2, he didn't show up very well, but the defense of the Broncos was very, very stout. He ended up leaving this game 6 carries, 15 yards. Simi Fehoko was the only guy that caught any touchdown pass or made any points for the Cardinals. Well, I guess you can throw Ryland in there for giving us the extra point because the touchdown is literally 6 points, and that extra point is for Ryland. So Fehoko was the only one that really kind of did anything. And guess what? He led the wide receivers in the amount of yards in that game. And guess what? He had 2 receptions, 21 yards. Yikes. Andre Bocelli, 2 receptions, 20 yards. Michael Carter, 5 receptions, 19 yards. Xavier Weaver had 1 reception, 17 yards. I'm going to be real. I was really hoping a lot more from Xavier Weaver in week 2. Now, that's definitely still something I'm going to be watching in week 3 if he has a bounce back game, because he did not have a good showing. Now, most of those yardage mostly came from Jacoby Brissett, because Clayton Tune ended up leaving this game 13 of 20, 56 yards. And he played probably 3 or 4 minutes left in the first quarter. He played the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. Clayton Tune amounted to 13 of 20 for 56 yards in 3.25, so 3 quarters and like 25% of the first quarter. That's kind of what he amounted to. It was a bad game. It was if you didn't watch this game, you are blessed. You shouldn't have sat down and wasted your Saturday, because this was an abysmal performance. Jacoby Brissett was good. He was good. 6 of 8, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Other than that, defensively, we got worked. Keaton Crawford, 5 tackles, 1 assist. Jamie Robinson, 5 tackles, 2 assists. Joey Blunt, 4 tackles, 1 assist. Darren Hall, which had himself a really good game in week 1, didn't really translate, but I would still love to see Darren Hall make the 53, especially with a lot of different injuries that we've had so far in the cornerback room. I would definitely love to see him make the roster. Saw some Elijah Simmons, saw some Denzel Burke. Again, he looked better in week 1 than he did in week 2, but nobody really looked good in week 2. The biggest highlight, probably our kicker in Blake Gillikin, and then probably Jacoby Brissett. Those are the highlights of week 1. The Denver Broncos out everything to us, man. Stidham, 16 of 23, 240 yards. Sam Ehlinger, which is their third string quarterback, 14 of 16, 162 yards. That's a third string quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. 14 of 16, 162 yards. Insane. So yeah, we got beat. We got beat pretty good. Troy Franklin, which there's debates out there that Troy Franklin can potentially be their second, maybe third wide receiver. I would have loved Troy Franklin on this team, if I'm gonna be real. Heck, we all were talking, or not all, but I was talking about Tez Johnson right in the draft. The Cardinals didn't really do anything to address the wide receiving core in the draft or free agency. Let's see what happens. Pat Bryan was the guy that led their entire team with 4 receptions, 70 yards. He averaged 17.5 yards a catch. Is nuts, man. We were allowing 3rd and longs to be converted on this team. This was a bad game, man. This was a bad game. I don't want to see a performance like that ever again. Unfortunately, we got week 3 coming around. Did I say kicker? I apologize, Tony. Did I say kicker? I'm sorry. Yeah, punter. I'm sorry. Our highlight was our punter, Blake Gillikin. Blake Gillikin, and then Jacoby Brissett, our quarterback. You're right. If I said that, I completely misspoke. I'm sorry about that. Yes, our punter was the highlight of this last week's game. Other than that, I mean, there's not really much to talk about other than I don't really want to see that type of performance again. But like I said before, unfortunately, we're gonna have week 1 coming our way, or week 3 coming our way against the Raiders, and most likely Clayton Tune's gonna be playing a good majority of that game. He's gonna have to fight for something. I'm not sure if he's fighting for a um, practice squad spot. I'm not sure if he's fighting for like to be on this organization in general, but he's fighting for something. He's fighting for something. So I hope Clayton Tune can get right because this is a bad one, man. And here's the thing, like this is back to back bad games, right? Okay, let me rephrase that. Not back to back, but there's 2 bad games that most people are thinking in their heads of when they think of Clayton Tune. This last week, and then the week versus the Browns a couple of years back. Another bad performance. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. No, you're good. No, 100%. Call me out. No, you're 100% good. Call me out because sometimes, yeah, I misspeak. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're good, man. Absolutely. Tony in the chat, I think Tune's on his way out. I agree. I agree. Now, here's a big question, right? Do you think that the Cardinals are going to get him as a practice squad guy? Because to be real, like, I don't even want to see him as a practice squad quarterback. I think the Cardinals are going to carry 2 quarterbacks, if I'm going to be real. I've been saying this for at least months now. I think that the big move in terms of bringing Jacoby Brissett in is that's your number 2 guy. And we've seen it in this small sample size of preseason. That's your number 2 guy. And there's not even a debate there, right? Your number 1 is Kyler and your number 2 is Jacoby. There's not even a debate there. So, yeah, I mean, Tune most likely 90% to 95%, he will not be on this 53. Now, will he make the practice squad? That's a different story, right? Maybe. The Cardinals haven't really been looking, with the exception of Desmond Ridder, which they kind of gave up on, right? Because they traded for Desmond Ridder with the whole Rondo Moore, prayers up to Rondo Moore. Another bad injury that ended up happening under the Falcons regime. And he's done for the season again. But yeah, Desmond Ridder, another guy that the Cardinals brought in, just didn't work out. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation because Jacoby Brissett, I believe he's under contract for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I know right now, most people are thinking if this season doesn't work out the way that we all want it in terms of expectation, then we can be realistically looking for another QB elsewhere, right? We don't know if that's going to come to fruition. All we know right now is that we're going into this season with a positive mindset, right? Go into the season with a positive mindset. And yes, Jacoby Brissett right now is under contract for 2025 and 2026. There's no guaranteed salary in 2026, but he does have a cap hit of $7.1 million in 2026 if he does decide to stay with the Cardinals. So, yep, 2-year deal with Jacoby, at least per over the cap. So, we got him for a couple years. We don't need Tune. We don't need him, right? Save that extra roster spot for a defensive lineman. Save that extra roster spot for a potential offensive lineman, or maybe even a cornerback that, as we know, a lot of people are very high on Will Johnson, and I am too. I love the pick. I think Will Johnson's going to be a stud, but it's so hard to have the expectations of him being a lockdown cornerback from the jump, right? He's going to struggle. He's going to go through bumps and bruises, right? Or maybe he can surprise me and he could probably be an all-pro cornerback. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But right now, for the sake of keeping rosters, right, roster spots available, just do the right thing and allow Tune to either hit the practice squad, but not make him into the 53. It almost kind of feels like a wasted practice spot there. Kyler, you got everything. You got your full chips on him, and then you got Jacoby, which is going to be your solid backup back there, right? So we're to take a couple comments. Michael in the chat says, JG likes him. I don't get it. I mean, Jonathan Gannon really doesn't say very negative things about anybody. I don't know if you noticed, but Jonathan Gannon doesn't really say very much negative things on anybody, right? He's a player's coach, right? He does not throw people under the bus. He's not Bruce Arians. He never has been. The most recent thing that I've heard in terms of him saying, I guess, criticism or feedback, wherever you want to call it. He was saying that the cornerbacks, he mentioned something about the cornerbacks, that they need to kind of play better, right? Like they need to kind of play better, right? So he does add it, the criticism, but like very rarely do you see it. He doesn't throw people under the bus. So I mean, what do you expect him to say at the end of the day, right? So I agree. He has been saying nothing but glowing remarks about Clayton Tune, but when you're looking at this roster, constructing it with actually bringing the guys is going to help you win games in 2025. Wasting a spot on a third string quarterback that will not see the light of day, it just seems very, very foolish, right? Seems foolish. And keep in mind, we only got two quarterbacks last year. Only two quarterbacks last year. Or at least we brought them in the 53, right? So if I can remember correctly, I think that was the case. But yeah, Clayton Tune was one of those guys. But now we don't need him. We got Jacoby. We got Jacoby. I'm already starting to miss Starling. I agree. Yeah, 100%. I was so much more confident when Starling Thomas the fifth was on this roster, and it's just one player, right? It's one player, but what he has done since the Cardinals have brought him in as a waiver claim has been nothing but exceeded my expectations. He was a waiver claim. That's when the Cardinals got him, a waiver claim from the Lions, and he has done nothing but fantastic things for the Cardinals. It's going to be a big role to step up in, a big, huge role to step up in, but we got the young cornerbacks that are looking for opportunity. Here we go, right? Here we go. The cornerbacks that played in week 2 in preseason, they all struggled, man. I'm going to be real. Even Denzel Burke, which I really do like a lot. I like Denzel Burke. I do. But he struggled. All the cornerbacks struggled, not just him, right? The whole secondary got carved up. Cody Simon. Everybody was so high on Cody Simon, including myself. I was excited. I was like, okay, all right, let's go. He looked lost. He struggled. I ended up watching back the all 22 film. I just watched it back. He struggled. Now he's gonna get a chance to get better. He's gonna get a chance to kind of put better film on, put better tape for next week if they do a better job versus the Raiders than they did against the Broncos. Let's just maybe say that the anomaly is the Broncos. Let's say that Broncos team is that damn good, right? Let's just say that. Because yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for sure. Darren Hall, some struggles there as well. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough showing for sure. I don't want to see a game like this ever again. That's for sure. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's talk about something else here, right? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about updates from Trey Hendrickson, shall we? Let's put some bright spots up here on the board here, right? Let's talk about some updates from Trey Hendrickson, shall we? Now, are the Arizona Cardinals going to make a move like this? Well, we already know that so far we have not seen Monty Ossenfort make a big aggressive move like this. We haven't. Now, do they have the cap space in 2025 to make a move? They do. They do. A lot of people don't believe it, but there's a lot of teams that have a lot of room on their cap space. Right now, per over the cap, the Arizona Cardinals have $35.4 million in cap space right now. So can they make a move like a Terry McLaurin? Can they make a move like Trey Hendrickson? Yes, they can. Yes, they can technically, right? Will they? That's a different story, right? That's a different story. But let's go ahead and take a look at all the updates that we've been seeing here so far about Trey Hendrickson. Now, there was an update on Terry McLaurin as well. I believe he actually has come off the the reserve list or something like that. So Commanders fans are excited that it's trending in the right direction, that Terry McLaurin most likely is coming back. Some people are speculating that a contract is coming. We don't know. Micah Parsons seems like he wants out, but there's not really any new updates on Micah Parsons other than the obvious big blow up on social media that happened about putting his letter out there, and we all read it. But this is the latest update on superstar Trey Hendrickson. Yesterday, Ian Rappaport ended up coming out with his tweet saying this: with contract talks at an impasse, the Bengals are listening. Yeah, here we go. They are listening to trade offers for Pro Bowler Trey Hendrickson, per me and Tom Pelissero. It's clear if the NFL sack leader will be playing elsewhere in 2025, and a trade will be a real challenge, but time will tell. So, per Ian Rappaport, the Bengals are listening in to some offers right now. Well, who are those teams? Are the Cardinals a part of those teams? Well, we haven't heard anything about any of that so far, right? So I would be foolish to come out here and say, yeah, the Cardinals are interested, right? Yeah. I mean, if you want to upgrade your roster, you add players like Trey Hendrickson, right? But because of we haven't seen this before of Monty, I'm always a little hesitant to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going all in," because I don't know if he's gonna do a move like this. I don't know if he feels like he should do a move like this, right? It's gonna cost draft capital. It's gonna cost a lot of money. It ain't gonna be cheap, right? This whole big uproar as to why this is starting is because he wants to get paid. So Cardinals might lose draft capital and lose cap, but as of right now, per over the cap, we do got the money to do something like this. Now, will they? I mean, you make a move like this down the future, it's going to affect the Cardinals some way or another, right? Paris Johnson Jr., right? Marvin Harrison Jr. in a few years from now, right? Things will get affected some way or another. So you do got to be a little smart when it comes down to the money aspect of it all. So for what it's worth, there's that. Diana Rossini did double down earlier this morning and said this: teams that have recently inquired about Bengals star Trey Hendrickson were told Cincinnati's asking price, including a young defensive player and a 2026 first round pick, according to league sources. The player heading back does not have to be a pass rusher. So here we go, right? We just made a 53-man roster prediction not too long ago, right? On paper, would y'all give up BJ Ojolari? Would y'all give up BJ Ojolari and a first round pick for Trey Hendrickson? Would y'all give up Zaven Collins and a first round pick for Trey Hendrickson? Would y'all give up Baron Browning and a first round pick and Trey Hendrickson? Now, like I said on the bottom, says on the bottom, the player coming back doesn't have to be a pass rusher. I mean, would y'all give up Clayton Tune? I'm just kidding. Clayton Tune ain't going nowhere in the trade. But yeah, I mean, this is the latest updates that we're seeing here. This is the latest updates that we're seeing right now. This would be amazing if the Cardinals were to make a move like this, right? Josh Sweat, and on the opposing side of him is going to be Trey Hendrickson. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. That would be great. It's just I keep leaning back onto Monty, right? If this was Steve Keim here, I would say maybe, just maybe this could be something that can happen, right? But Monty Ossenford is very, very, so far with what we've seen, loves draft picks, right? Loves building within the draft, which that's exactly how you got to do it, right? You got to build within the draft. You're not going to bat 1,000, but if you can get 3 or 4 starters in a draft class, you are successful. You're successful. The draft is a lottery. That's what it is. You're gambling with who you truly believe is going to become a star. And as of right now, will Monty make a move like this? Oof, I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Chef Alex says, I'd give him Zaven. Sanctuary says, I'd give up Zaven. Adrian in the chat, Zaven, yes. BJ, I don't know. I believe BJ can be that guy still. Here's the thing. I still do believe that BJ Ojolari is going to be that guy too. Call me foolish. Call me crazy. I still believe in BJ Ojolari. No matter, I still do. If he can stay healthy, I believe in what he can do. Now, I'm not going to come out here saying he's going to be a sack leader, right? No, but I think he can give you a solid 5 or 6 sacks yearly. I think he can be that guy for you. And I know that's not a lot, right? But I'm putting the bar low because I want to see him a full year stay healthy, right? But yeah, man, we got some people here in the chat saying, hey, maybe Zaven. Maybe we throw Zaven on in there with a first round pick and potentially bringing him in, right? I mean, it all just comes down to, does Monty Ossenfort want to make a move like this, right? I mean, per these reports, there's teams calling in. There's teams calling right now. I mean, rightfully so. Guys, yesterday was Sunday. 3 weeks from yesterday it's 3 weeks away from the regular season. 3 weeks. That's what we're sitting in here realistically. 3 weeks away. In our last preseason game, which is going to be this coming Saturday versus the Raiders. Saturday, right? The next day, Sunday, it's 2 weeks away from Sunday, this coming Sunday. It's more closer to 3 weeks, right? It's a little under 3 weeks away from the start of the regular season, but still, it's coming. It's coming fast. It's going to hit you real quick in the mouth. So these teams, the Dallas Cowboys with Micah Parsons, the Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals, the Terry McLaurin with the Commanders. They need to figure this SHIT out real quick. They need to figure it out. So, of course, you got teams calling in and saying, okay, well, what will it take, right? What will it take for us to potentially get a guy like this? Because as of right now, I like our roster, but I ain't going to lie to you. Adding Trey Hendrickson would be that damn cherry on top of the ice cream to say, okay, we're going into this season as a fringe playoff team because the trajectory, the next step is playoffs. Let's be real. But adding a player like Trey Hendrickson, expectations goes through the roof. Through the roof if he comes in here. Am I wrong? I don't think so. Same with Terry McLaurin. Same with Micah Parsons if they were traded, right? Expectations for that team that gets them are through the roof. Through the roof. So is that what Monty is trying to avoid, those like big time expectations? Well, I hope not. This is year 3. We're all expecting a big move, right? Not big move. We're all expecting a big jump. 4 wins to 8 wins. Potentially could have been more if we didn't crash and burn in the second half of the season, like usually we kind of do. But now here we are, right? Now here we are. You got 3 players right now that their career is at a standstill, and there could be a real big move being made. And it feels like the Cardinals are happy with where they're at. I'm going to be real, and I know I keep harping on this. I am worried about a couple different positions. Couple, right? The number one position that I'm worried about is the middle linebacking position opposite side of Mack Wilson Sr. I'm worried about it. I'm going to be real. I'm worried about it. Akeem Davis-Gaither came in here for a 2-year deal. Seen him a couple different times in preseason. I'm worried about it. Cody Simon, we all hoped that was going to be this next Messiah that we drafted because he played for Ohio State, and Monty loves Ohio State guys. He struggled. He struggled in week 2, but everybody struggles, so I guess we can't put too much on him. He's a rookie at the end of the day, right? I'm worried about the opposing middle linebacker opposite side of Mack Wilson Sr. What's Kazir White doing? What's Kazir White doing? Can we call him up? Can we call up Kazir? I mean, we brought back Will Hernandez. Can we bring back Kazir? He's still free agent. That'll make me feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy. There's that. I was very, very high on the cornerbacks that we have, which I'm still it's not that I'm low on the cornerbacks. I think the cornerbacks of the Arizona Cardinals are good. I think they got really great potential. I think there's a lot of untapped what they could be is what's getting us excited, right? That's what we're all excited. What can they be, right? Garrett Williams, one of the best cornerbacks in the slot, and PFF proves it yearly, or at least this last year. He's one of the best out there. Done a great job last year. Garrett Williams, love him. Max Melton going to his year 2, love him. Will Johnson. We're depending a lot on these young guys to be them, right? To be them, to hold down our secondary, right? To shut down the wide receivers of this NFC West, to shut down the wide receivers of the NFL, which on paper it couldn't work, especially if you have a great defensive line. But there's a little worriness. And on top of that, the wide receiving core, the depth at wide receiving core, still a little worried about that. Now, it did give me a little bit of a different look now that I kind of know that Zay Jones most likely will be the guy at slot over Greg Dortch. That gives me a little more intrigue to say, okay, I'm willing to sit back, or I'm willing to sit back and see what he does. Because let's remember, last year we didn't have Zay Jones in the first five games. He was suspended, right? So because of that, maybe the connection between him and Kyler actually get going. But with what we've been seeing in joint practice, Cardinals versus Broncos, what we've been seeing in training camp, what we've been seeing in preseason, this offense runs through 2 people pass catching wise, Marvin and Trey McBride. And that's not a bad problem to have. It's not. But you also need to spread the ball around to, hey, said Michael Wilson, hey, said Zay Jones, targeting them a lot more to give them the opportunity to make a big explosive play, get more open so they're not doubled, right? So I'm a little worried about that aspect of it all. That maybe in the midway through this next year in 2025, that we're going to be talking about where are these darn wide receivers, right? Because I remember very, very vividly last year, we were looking at wide receiver numbers, a lot of wide receiver numbers, and most of them, with the exception of Marv or Trey, left these games with 20 yards, 30 yards, like very unimpactful numbers. I hope that changes this year. I really do. I hope that changes this year. But overall, I'm excited. I'm excited about what this team can be. This team can be very, very good for the Arizona Cardinals. If these young potential cornerbacks we have can show out to be damn good cornerbacks. If Akeem Davis Gaither shuts me up and he proves to be a real good inside linebacker. And then the number 3 wide receiver, right? And of course, you also have, can we stay healthy, right? The can we stay healthy is always going to be one of those things that I'm always a little worried about just because I worry. That's what it is. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what this team's going to look like. Now, we got a real favorable matchup in week 1 versus the Saints. Favorable. If we don't leave this game, obviously with the win, but with some sort of dominance, either offensively or defensively, I mean, that's probably going to be a big thing to talk about, right? Because the next matchup, you got a team that should also be in the trajectory of us, right? Maybe 1 year lower than us in terms of what their expectations are in the Panthers. They always seem to get our number. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter that Cam Newton comes off the streets. They always seem to get our number. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Arizona Cardinals end up doing here. Yeah. But yeah, for the people that are just joining, here's the latest on Trey Hendrickson updates. There's teams calling about him, but big question is, are the Cardinals interested? Are the Cardinals one of those teams interested in potentially going after said Trey Hendrickson? We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. 90%, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. But I'll give a little grace of 10% just because you never know what's going to happen, right? But we got less than 3 weeks away from the start of the season. Less than 3 weeks away from the start of the season. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. So what did we learn from week 2? I don't want to see those players ever on this field again. That's the biggest thing that I took away. I don't want to see these players on the field ever again. Their depth, they're still developing, and I think that's what we're going to have to keep them as of right now. You are still seeing teams host players right now, and the Cardinals have been hosting some players here and there as well. So I don't want to come out here and say the Cardinals haven't been. We did add one new player, and it was an offensive lineman. I believe it was sometime last week. It's probably not going to be a starter, maybe more of a depth guy. Some might even say, is he going to make the 53? We don't know, right? We don't know, but we'll see. Javier in the chat, if we have similar stats for Marvin Harrison Jr., are we having buyer's remorse? Are you talking about at the end of the season? I mean, everything points to Marvin Harrison Jr. taking that next step this year. Everything points to Marvin Harrison Jr. taking the next step this year. But if he doesn't crack 1,000 yards going into his year 2, there will be conversations to be had. Not that he's a bust. No, not at all. I don't think he's a bust. Now, of course, people's opinions on what busts are different, and it's subjective. Because let's be real, people were expecting to have Malik Neighbors numbers, or maybe Brian Thomas Jr. numbers, or Vlad McConkey numbers. I'm not going to come out here and say Marv is a bust because I don't think he's a bust. But if we don't hit the 1,000 yard mark, 1,100, 1,200 yard mark, yeah, I mean, there's going to be conversations to be had, right? But not just for Marvin, but scheme, about quarterback play, about this offense, about everything that's going to be assessed. So to me, conversations will be had, But I don't think a lot of the eyes, or at least for me, is not going to be Marvin. It's going to be the big talking point, if that makes sense, right? It wouldn't be the big talking point for me, um, if that makes sense. So we'll talk about it. We'll absolutely talk about it, but it won't be what my main focus will be on. Now, Javier, you did mention something a little earlier in the chat, right? Earlier before or when the start of the stream came on, you asked this very good question, very good question. I'm not sure if you guys have been rocking with me since the start of when we were talking about the offseason, who the Cardinals should add, all these different players, this and that, right? Great question from Javier. So, Mike, can we talk about how Dart, he may be him on another team that may just found the next QB of their future? Now, let's talk about this, right? Because I want to be real. The whole Jackson Dart thing, I was pretty early on the whole I love Jackson Dart, right? I think Jackson Dart's going to be a good player. But then I did back off because there was no way the Cardinals were going to get a quarterback in round 1. There's no way the Cardinals were looking for a franchise or a future quarterback this year, right? So I backed off a little bit. Now, stock went up. We were talking about a guy that maybe was going to go in the 3rd round to a potential 1st round pick. The Giants jumped on it. The Giants had, I would say 2 players, because I'm going to be real. There was some Cardinal fans that were kind of going on the hype train of Jackson Dart too, but they were probably comfortable with where I was comfortable in the 3rd or 4th round, right? 1st round, no. You need to have an impactful guy on the defense side of the ball, and hopefully Walton Nolan could be that guy. Hopefully he can get off the PUP list before the 53-man roster, so he doesn't have to miss 4 weeks. Fingers crossed, we're all hoping that, right? But yeah, the Giants got 2 of the, I'm not going to say darlings, but players that some Cardinal fans wanted. Cam Scadaboo being one of them. Cam Scadaboo was a player that a lot of Cardinal fans were talking about. We need to go after him. It didn't matter that we had Trey. It didn't matter that we had James Conner. It didn't matter. They wanted Cam because of ASU. And, of course, we all know what the Giants did. Traded up in the 1st round, and they got themselves a potential franchise quarterback. And that's even after they got after Mr. Unlimited. Even after they went after Mr. Unlimited and got themselves Russell Wilson, Russell is not going to be their future, right? It's a bridge guy. But yeah, Jackson Dart so far looks pretty good in preseason, but it's preseason, right? So you don't want to look too much into it in terms of, oh man, he's a future. But so far with what you've seen in the small sample size, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. Franchise quarterback, is he? We don't know. But the good thing about him is he's not having to be thrown into the fire and be that guy from the jump. He doesn't have to be that, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Eddie in the chat. What's up, Eddie? Marvin Harrison Jr. can only get so many catches when they have McBride. Yes and no. So I think you're right, but also on the other side of the coin, the comfortability between Kyler and McBride, which I'm not mad at. I love that he's got a safety blanket back there. But my big question is, why is there that same comfortability not with Marv? That's a big question that's going to be arising, especially if Marvin doesn't put up the numbers that we're all expecting in year 2. Now, we're expecting him to do that. Yeah, I think we're all having a big year for him. Is he going to do it? Well, we're going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out, right? Terry in the chat. What's up, Terry? For Hendrickson, trade Justin Jones, Jalen Thompson, Zayvon Collins in a 4th, and a 2020 for. Woo! You're giving up all our guys. What? So you're saying Justin Jones, Jalen Thompson, Zayvon Collins, a 4th round 2026 draft pick. Per the reports now, like I said, reports can be wrong. I think the Bengals have their eye on a 1st rounder. Per this Diana Rossini tweet down here, I think they're looking for a 1st round pick and a defensive or a player, a young player, is what they're looking for. That's a lot of starters for the Okay, that's 2 starters that the Cardinals potentially giving up for a starter. I get it. He's probably one of the best pass rushers, but I mean, I'm not mad at this. Actually, I'm not mad at this at all. I mean, if you take Jalen Thompson out of that list, I get it. We got Rabbit. I get it. We got Crawford. I just love Jalen Thompson, man. I love Jalen Thompson. I'm not mad at this package. I'm really not, especially because it's just a fourth rounder. But it seems like they are very, very set on they want a first rounder. So, hey, I don't mind that mock up though. And one thing too that I didn't mention, one thing that I did not mention, because I didn't know this before, like, so obviously right after the game, um, I go straight into doing my post game reaction, right? One thing that I did not know until after the game, obviously I knew Saturday night, but I didn't talk about it very much. Did y'all know that Nick Rallis didn't call this last game? Nick Rallis was in the booth at the top. He wasn't calling the defense. Jonathan Gannon had cornerback coach Ryan Smith call the defense, and passing game coordinator Drew Terrell call the offense. So Petzing and Rallis did not call this game in Denver. So for the people out there saying, fire Drew, fire Drew, fire Drew, it wasn't even Drew Petzing. Who was calling the defense? Cornerback coach Ryan Smith. Who was calling the offense? Wide receiver coach Drew Terrell. So it's not Petzing's fault. not all on Petzing, but it's cool. It's cool, man. That's the type of stuff that you see, right? Jonathan Gannon is very, very. He loves the thought of giving these guys the opportunity. He wants to create a tree under him like Sean McVay has, right? O'Connell and probably other ones as well that kind of came under that Sean McVay tree and has worked out well in the NFL. Jonathan Gannon's giving these guys opportunities. So Rallis didn't call this game. Neither did Drew Petzing. But yeah, I found that interesting. Small little tidbit there. But cool. All right. Let's take a real quick sponsor break real quick. 30-second sponsor break. I'll be right back. Shout out to my sponsors, My Valley Sports. I keep saying that. My bad. The sponsors of the AZ Sport, My Valley Prints. My Valley Prints. Shout out to them. Here we go.
Yo, Red Sea, you know how we rep the cards with pride every Sunday, so why not rep your own squad the same way? Whether it's your business, your team, or your crew, My Valley Prints has you covered with custom screen prints and embroidery right here in the desert. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, you name it. From clean logos to bold game day drip, they'll make your vision look like a first-round pick. Local, reliable, and always bringing that Cardinal level energy. Hit up myvalleyprints@yahoo.com or DM them via Instagram to get your gear started. My Valley Prints, built for the Valley, designed for you.
Another shout out here to My Valley Prints, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Go ahead and make sure you check them out if you're looking for your next custom hats, hoodies, shirts. They got it all, man. They got you covered. Make sure you check them out here on their email address as well as DM them on Instagram. Everything will be in the description of the video below. Another updates around the NFL world. One thing that we've been keeping our eye on, or I'm not sure if you guys have been, but I've been keeping my eye on, is the fact that the NFC West, right? Who's going to win the NFC West? If you guys do not know, Matthew Stafford has now returned to practice. So Cardinal fans out there are saying that we're going to win the NFC West because Matthew Stafford's back issues, right? Matthew Stafford's back issues. We got a shot here. I think we still got a shot. I really do. I think we still got a shot of winning the NFC West. But right now, I'm not going to take anything away from the best quarterback in the NFC West right now, and that's Matthew Stafford. So Matthew Stafford did return to practice today. And of course, there's highlights and all these things already on social media, him throwing the ball over to Devontae, and it's going to be this whole thing, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the Cardinals are going to stack up in the NFC West. The back issue, to me, I still do think it's a concern, right? If he takes a big hit. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all goes. Let's take a couple comments in here on the chat. Appreciate you guys here. We got Pedro. What's up, Pedro? Pedro in the chat. I always laugh at people who freak out over a preseason game where all the players were second or third stringers and start saying our season's over before it even starts. Yeah, no, definitely. To me, one thing that I like to see in preseason is hope, right? I like to see hope for the future. I like to see hope from the second stringers and third stringers, right? I didn't see a lot of hope in the second in week 2. Week 1, I saw that hope, right? I was on that hopium, right? But you're right. It's nothing to do with 2025, right? So for the people out there, I'm not sure if it's a joke, but I saw it throughout social media, not just on my channel. People were like, fire Drew Petzing. Petzing didn't even call this game. Nick Rallis didn't even call this game, right? The Broncos' second, third, fourth stringers are much better than ours. That's one thing we can say. That's one big thing that we can take away for sure. But you're right, 110%. Preseason doesn't matter at the end of the day. You can be a 3-0 team in preseason and lose every regular season game. It's the way it is, right? It's the way it is. But one thing that I want to see from preseason is hope, progress of these young guys, and flashes here and there. I don't care if we win. We can go 0-3 in preseason, but if we see these young guys make moves and plays and we don't get obliterated, I think that's a good preseason, to be real. But right now, the Arizona Cardinals are 1-1. Next week, whatever happens and whatever lands on, if we beat the Raiders, if they beat us, it has no implications on what happens in the regular season. It doesn't. So you're 110% correct, Pedro. 110% correct. Let's keep it going here with the chat. Do you think Hendrickson is worth it? Yeah, I do. If I'm going to, yeah, I do. I think Hendrickson is worth it. I think Hendrickson is a great, fantastic player. Now, whoever lands him is going to get a upgraded defensive line from the jump. Doesn't matter if they have a rookie on the opposite side of him. He is a sack leader. He's the best. He's the most. He was the. Let me rephrase. He was a sack leader 2 years in a row. Is what I'm trying to say. 2 years in a row, 17.5 sacks both years. Yeah, I think he's worth it. I really do. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's not ours, media, fans' decision, right? It's Montiel's support to see if he values it. I think he is worth it. Now, the thing is that you are giving up draft capital and you're giving up money, right? You're giving up money. So we haven't seen Montiel support make a move like this. So that's why I'm a little worried about will he. Maybe not, right? Maybe not. But this is the latest updates that we got on Trey Hendrickson, right? That teams are calling in. They're calling to the Bengals and saying, okay, well, what will it take, right? Will he get traded? I don't know, right? Diana Rossini says it'll take a first-round pick in a player. So that's kind of the updates that we've gotten so far. Let's take a couple more questions here in the chat. Jason, what's up, Jason? Question is, will Stafford make it through the season? That's a great question. One thing I would say about Stafford is that this guy will play hurt. He will play hurt. He's a tough as nails SOB. He will play hurt. Right? And that's why speculations were, hey man, this is a bigger deal than it is because he was supposed to practice sometime last week. He was supposed to. And then the speculation started to happen that he didn't, right? That he didn't. And now people were like, oh man, that back issue, it's a disc issue. This can be real. And now we're seeing videos that he's in practice. But yeah, I mean, if you have that disc issue, a big hit can definitely derail things. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out here at the end of the day. The Truth. What's up, The Truth? Our good old Seahawk fan joining the chat. What's up, man? How's the Cards' defensive line this training camp? It was weak last year, but the Cards loaded up on some players. Just wondering how the unit looks. I think overall it's looked pretty good. The thing is that when you're looking at the one-on-one drills, it looks good, right? On paper, it looks good. We haven't seen them fully in preseason, so it's really hard to get a grasp of what they're going to look like when you add Josh Sweat. Because Josh Sweat has not and will not play preseason. Like, the Cardinals already know, yeah, you're good. You can play. Like, we already know you're going to be our starting outside linebacker, right? So we haven't seen Josh Sweat. We haven't seen Darius Robinson. We haven't seen Calais Campbell. We haven't seen Walter because he's been hurt, right? We haven't seen the starting defensive linemen right now all together on the same field in a game, preseason or regular, right? So on paper, it's good, right? The one-on-one drills, they look good. Dante Stills looks good. And I know you guys probably don't know about him, especially a Seahawk fan, but Dante Stills was about a 4th round pick. I think it was last year. He looks good. He's progressing to be that guy. We haven't seen B.J. Ojulari in that same line either. So, yeah, I mean, things are good. Things are trending in the right direction. And that was one of the biggest, weakest points for the Cardinals last year. Absolutely. You're 110% right. Nail on the head. So, yeah, we'll see. John, what's up, John? Not going to lie, secondary is my personal concern. I think we should go after Asante. I would love Asante Samuel. I would love it. Right now, Asante Samuel is still available. But the biggest, I guess, the last we've heard from Asante is that everybody's concerned about medicals, right? Medicals. He's had a lot of workouts, with us included. It's just, he hasn't signed. He hasn't signed with anybody. So we're going to be expecting a lot from our 2nd round pick, at least as of right now, the way the roster is shaking out. We're going to be expecting a lot of Will Johnson from the jump. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that shakes out. Let's keep it with the chat. Man, you guys are killing it with the chat. Appreciate you guys, man. Yeah, questions. Throw the questions out there, right? Throw the questions out there. Terry, what's up, Terry? It wasn't fair to those players to not have an OC. That's fair, too. That's fair. Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I mean, maybe they are taking that into account as well, right? Maybe they already know that Xavier Weaver is going to do it. Because we talked about this on our live play-by-play, right? We were talking about that. We're like, how is this fair for Clayton Tune to be the quarterback? And we're really trying to find our quarterback 5, right? Our quarterback 5 or 6. Like, how is it fair to these wide receivers that Clayton Tune is not able to even throw the ball to them, right? How is this fair, right? So, I mean, same side of the coin, right? How can you evaluate when you do got guys that are not defensive or offensive coordinators? But, I mean, it just kind of goes to show, like, preseason's important, and we know that, right? It's just, I don't think Jonathan Gannon truly believes, or I think what he said, he's seen enough, right? Jonathan Gannon says he's seen enough in joint practice and in week 1 to have him not play. Would I have the starters in week season 2? And I would have. I'm going to be real. I think BA would have too. I think Bruce Arians probably would have. Even if it's for a drive or 2, I would have. But the way that they do things here with Jonathan Gannon, which there's no wrong or right way to do it, just didn't want to do it. That's fine. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. Hopefully week 1, they look really, really dominant and we don't look sluggish. Because that's what I'm looking for. I need this team to look on their P's and Q's and dominate against those Saints that you should beat. Sorry. So, what would you give her for Hendrickson? Yikes. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, looking at what Diana Rossini ended up saying, I'm not mad at that. A 1st round pick and a player, like if that's all it would take to give you 17.5 sacks or a guy with that type of production. Now I know he's getting older, right? Is he going to give you that same production? We'll have to kind of wait and see. But like a 1st round pick and a player, maybe like Zaven or B.J. Ojulari, right? I mean, I feel like that's kind of worth it. Now it comes to the other side of the coin. How much does he want to get paid, right? How much money are we going to have to spend on him? How is that going to affect our future? All these type of things you're going to have to, kind of talk about. But I mean, seeing the Diana Rossini tweet that came out, I mean, I'm not mad at the 1st round pick and a player. I'm not mad at that one bit. Especially if you can get double-digit sacks from him. Remember, last year our sack leader was Zaven Collins. 5.5 sacks. If somebody can get you double-digit sacks, we're salivating. Cardinal fans, we are up in arms. This is the next Messiah. Let's be real. Our sack leader last year was Zaven Collins with 5.5 sacks. 2 weeks before the season ended, I believe it was Dante Stills with 4 sacks. It was probably 4.5 sacks. Like, that's what our production has been. It's not been good. So, do I think he's worth it? What would I give up? I mean, see what Diane Rossini ended up saying, a first-round pick and a player. That doesn't seem bad to me. That doesn't seem bad. Now, the money, yeah, I mean, that can definitely affect the Cardinals in the future for sure. I mean, we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. But keep in mind, our first-round picks, one of them being Marvin, which I still think he had a really good rookie year. I know people don't think so, but whatever, opinions. We didn't get a lot of production from Darius Robinson, right? We all expected that first-round pick from the Texans to be somewhere in the top 10. Like, that's what the Cardinals were hoping for, that first-round pick of the Texans was supposed to be somewhere in the top 10 or top 15. Hell, it was back in the bottom part of the first round. So we got Darius Robinson. He was hurt. Walter Nolan. Can he come off the PUP list and give us production? Well, we'll see, right? But I don't think Walter Nolan as a rookie, or even if Darius Robinson gave us a full year, was going to give us double-digit sacks. I don't think that was ever going to be the case. So yeah, man, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Bart in the chat, what's up, Bart? What are running back situation behind James Conner looking this upcoming season? Well, we do have a breakdown of a final 53-man roster that we just released not too long ago. It's giving you, make sure you check that out if you have any other questions for any other depth, because we just released it on the channel not too long ago. But it's James Conner and Trey Benson, your number 1 and your number 2. That's it. Number 1, number 2, if they can stay healthy, they are your two-headed duo. James Conner and Benson. But we do got a full breakdown. We got a full breakdown doing the whole 53-man roster, including depth, on there on the channel already, labeled Final 53, ? Monty Alstonfort's face up in there. So make sure you check it out for the rest of the positions. So yeah. How much would Trey's contract would be? This is a good question. Let's look at the highest paid edge rushers right now. Per over the cap, the highest paid edge rushers right now, it used to be Myles Garrett. Used to be, right? Right now, the highest paid edge rusher is TJ Watt. TJ Watt is 31 years old, which that is the age of Trey Hendrickson, or at least around that age. I think he's like 30, 31. Myles Garrett is 30 years old. Danielle Hunter, 31 years old. They are the top paid edge rushers in the NFL right now. The top 3 are in their 30s right now. TJ Watt is getting paid an average of $41 million a year. Yeah, no, that's crazy. $41 million a year TJ Watt's getting paid. He's got a guaranteed salary of over it's like $108 million guaranteed. Total value of the contract is $123 million. But average $41 million a year. Now, does he get $41 million a year? Does he get $35 million a year? Well, I mean, right now, premium edge rushers, you're going to be paying them somewhere mid-30s to close 40s. So it's going to be expensive. Yeah, it's going to be expensive. It ain't going to be cheap. It's going to be expensive. Mega Man over here going through some emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, no, we all remember this too. Yeah, all I had to do was turn around. Yep. Kind of seemed like that's what derailed the season. But no, I mean, unfortunately, unfortunately that happened. But fortunately, we got a new season coming around in 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks from now to hopefully get things right, right? Fingers crossed that can happen. So yeah. Ain't going to be cheap, man. Ain't going to be cheap one bit. It's going to be pretty darn expensive. But here we go. Worst day ever, Mega Man. Yeah. I know the pain, JMR says. John, if it's going to be that much, I'd say Micah is more worth it. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Here's the thing with Micah. You're probably going to have to give up more of your future. And what I mean by that is that's probably going to take multiple first-round picks. Multiple first-round picks for Micah Parsons because of his age and the price tag, right? So with Hendrickson, if you go after a first rounder, guess what? In 2027, you still got your first round pick, right? And depending how long you have Hendrickson, let's say you sign him on a 4-year extension. Let's just say let's just say that. You got him on another 3 years. So you got Josh Sweat as your edge rusher and Trey Hendrickson as your edge rusher, right? But you at least have your 2027 round pick. When it comes to Micah, although great player, he kind of eats that up. You don't have a first round pick because of that. So it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation to kind of find yourself in. But, what will Monty do, right? WWMD. What will Monty do? I mean, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the beautiful part here of the 2025 season. But we are going to be closing up shop right here. We have hit the hour mark. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Everybody who smacked the like button, do that favor for me right now. Everybody here in the chat. If we don't have over 35 to 40 likes here by the time you're done, it's crazy. But smack the like button here on your way out. Subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube if you don't mind. We are on the road to 18K. Cannot do it without you guys. So subscribe it up. Smack the like button. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be closing up shop right here. Of course, more content coming your way. We're going to be talking Cardinals versus Raiders later on in this week. But just obviously getting ready for the regular season is what we're mainly excited about. We got the 53-man roster cut down happening next week as well on Tuesday. So we're going to be finding out if Walter comes off the PUP list, B.J. Ojolari comes off the PUP list. We're going to have to get all that and more next week. But still, we're getting ready here for Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders coming our way, which is going to be our final preseason game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day. You guys are all amazing. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.